Welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters. I'm your host, Lisa Turner, a professional bookkeeper, registered BAS agent, and your small business cheerleader and mentor. I'm also a wife and mum to two little people. This podcast is for small business owners who want to manage their numbers the right way. It will be short and sweet episodes each week on business and bookkeeping matters in an easy to understand way with real quick tips or changes you can put in place, having a huge positive impact at the same time up-leveling yourself, so you can be in control and confident that you know your bookkeeping matters. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hello there, and welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters for the week. This week, I want to help you decide who gets the fun of doing your bookkeeping. And there are two options: outsourcing or going it alone and DIYing your books. Both have their pros and cons, which is why it can be difficult to decide what is best for you and your business. So let's think about some of the deciding factors so that you can be confident that you've made the best decision for you and your business at the time. First up, and most importantly, do you have the time to do your own bookkeeping? Because if you don't, well, you don't need to think about it any further, do you? Outsource that bookkeeping, handball it straight away, because it's not an optional task in your small business, and you want your numbers to be well looked after, accurate, and up to date. Looking after your numbers does take a huge chunk of time out of your day or your week because there is a bit to do. You need to record everything, keep all your invoices, and run and review your reports. If you have payroll or BAS, preparing and lodging them, keeping up to date with all the rules and regulations. The more you grow, the more the bookkeeping grows as well. So yep, time is a pretty important thing to consider. Now, if it's early days and you have the time to spare, get yourself set up the right way and do as much as you can yourself before handing it over to your tax agent. And that is exactly how a lot of people start off. Let's say you do have the time. Could it be better spent somewhere else? Because when it comes to business, time really is money, and you can always get more money, but not more time. So make sure doing the bookkeeping is actually something that you personally need to be doing. Instead of taking a couple of hours a week to do the books, could you be focused on revenue generating activities like marketing or actual client work? And then the bookkeeping pays for itself, doesn't it? If you're getting someone else to do it and you're doing more value add work for your business. You might think that $500 a month on bookkeeping is expensive and you'll just do it yourself. But let's break that down a little bit. $500 a month, $125 a week. Bookkeeping might take you 2 hours a week. In that 2 hours, you could have a private coaching session with a client for $1,000. You've just made $1,000 revenue, and the bookkeeping only cost you $125, and you didn't have to deal with the books. Or if you're thinking, yikes, I don't sell anything like that in 2 hours, I'll keep doing the books, thanks very much. How about this then? In that 2 hours, you've created a new digital product that sells online over and over and over again, or you've added to your product range or rejigged your pricing to be more profitable. However you want to look at it, any revenue generating task that you otherwise wouldn't have had time for if you were stuck doing the bookkeeping. And then the flip side to that, even if you didn't have something else you needed to be doing in the business, could you be spending that time with your family or on yourself? In small businesses, we all too often forget to take time out for ourselves. So it's really important to think, just because I have the time, do I actually really need to do it myself? And that's something that I'm always working on in my own business. Just because I can do it doesn't mean it should be me doing it. And that's a work in progress for me. So yes, if you find value in doing the books yourself, and if there isn't anything else that can make better use of your time, dive in and balance those books for sure. I have loads of clients who looked after their numbers for a good few years before they decided it was time for them to switch it up and outsource. Now, so far, you've decided you've got the time. You've decided your time is not better spent somewhere else. Do you have the number crunching skills, resources, or support for it to be a good decision to keep the books on your to-do list? Because bookkeeping is one area where many small business owners fall short. And it's not hard to understand why, because it can be seen as really boring. Not by me, of course. It can be seen as too hard and left to pile up, leaving you with a really huge mess on your hands because you don't know what to do with it. Bookkeeping is not something we're taught as we grow up or at school. It's a trade or a skill that you have to go out and learn. Absolutely, you might find the software easy, but do you know what you're putting where in that software? Are you being compliant with your payroll, as in the right wages, the right allowances, the right super? Can you or should you be claiming GST? Is that purchase actually a business expense? And does it go to printing and stationery or office equipment on the balance sheet? What's a balance sheet? Are the questions. And it is a passion of mine to answer them for you because I get it. You don't know what you don't know. Just like I have no intention of ever writing my own employment contracts for my staff. Sure, I could write whatever I wanted in them, but would they be compliant with my legal responsibilities to myself, my business, and my employees? I highly doubt it because I didn't go to law school and I don't do regular training and education on it. So you guessed it, I pay my solicitor to do those. Thanks, Tracy. There are a lot of things you need to know and keep up with in the world of accounting. So if you don't even know where to start, outsource it, my friend. But if you do love a good batch of processing and are great with details, learning, and numbers in general, go get yourself a bookkeeper or an accountant to help you set up a system that works for you, and they can review and support you along the way for you to look after it yourself. And they do checks and balances at the end of the year or the end of the quarter for you. I used to love giving quarterly reviews back to clients who are DIYing and teaching them things they needed to do differently. That kind of support is super helpful when you're on the tools yourself. Now, if you have been with me for a little while, following along on Instagram or reading my numbers news each week, you will know I am always banging on about having a separate business bank account. And that is relevant in today's show because if you don't yet have your personal and your business financials separated, it might actually be too hard to outsource your bookkeeping. So you might just have to look after those numbers yourself until you make the switch. You most definitely can outsource, but most bookkeepers won't want to help you just yet because it's a little bit too messy and more time intensive than it needs to be. So it will cost you more money. We'll want you to make that split first and then come back to us. Or if you are ready to split the bank accounts, we can dive in and help you get it going. But you do need to be ready to make that step. So far, you've said, yes, you've got time to do the books. You're not burning the candle at both ends. You've nowhere else more valuable to be, and you've got mad number skills and love learning. Are you confident that if the ATO comes a-knocking, that you're not going to be in a spot of bother? Because outsourcing to a BAS agent, and let's not forget that you can't outsource to just anyone here in Australia. They do need to be either a registered BAS or tax agent. Well, that gives you peace of mind and you know that it's been done the right way. They've dotted your I's and crossed your T's for you. To give you a little bit of insight, I don't do my own tax returns. Of course, they're so easy to lodge online, and I've done all my bookkeeping beautifully, of course, but is there some new income tax law or provision I don't know about? Should I be reporting my director's loan to the company a different way? That's what I pay my tax agent to manage for me. She's in the know and keeps up to date on all her training in that area. Thank you very much, Mel. Now, we've gotten this far and you're still not sure if you should DIY or outsource. Ask yourself this: do you hate doing your bookkeeping? Do numbers stress you out and make you rock silently in the corner with your cortisol levels rising by the second? Do you cringe when you hear the word expenses or invoices and your eyes glaze over and your mind drifts away very quickly to the latest Netflix show that you are watching? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to outsource, no matter what you were thinking on all of the earlier questions. Because if numbers are something you hate and are stressed about doing, it's not good for the health of you or your business to push on and keep doing the books yourself. I know we've been talking about outsourcing bookkeeping, but you can apply these questions to any area of your business that you're thinking about handing over. Your social media, your admin, customer service, your website, anything. So those questions are: do you have the time? If you do, is it adding value by you doing it, or should someone else be doing it anyway? Do you have the skills to do the job to the standards needed for your business or to meet your legal requirements? Is your business set up to outsource that task, or do you need to make some changes first? Do you enjoy doing the thing? There's something that I personally haven't outsourced and probably never will because I actually really enjoy doing it. I'm over 5 years in business now, and I still personally hand make birthday cards and send handwritten notes to my clients, and I curate the welcome gift packs. Yes, my beautiful admin person mails them out, and she could totally do the whole process. Could my time be better spent elsewhere? Yes, but I love doing it. So that's something that's really important to me, that I keep doing that. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of things to outsource. Now we're back to our two options, the outsourcing or the DIYing. If you have decided your best option is to DIY, make sure you cozy yourself up to someone in the know to get tips and support from along the way, like my free numbers club, where we regularly give tips and reminders and have live Q&As, or my numbers news for you to keep you updated on important information and changes. If possible, have a professional set up your accounting software or system for you to use, and don't leave it all to the last minute to get everything up to date. Get yourself on some other small business mailing lists where you'll get emailed important information like Fair Work, the ATO, your super fund, those kind of things. So at least if you don't know what to do about something that pops up, you're at least aware of it and can ask for help. If you're in the other boat and super keen to ditch the numbers management, head over to my website resource section and grab my download of questions to ask when engaging a bookkeeper. It's linked in the show notes, of course, so that you can find the best fit for you, because not every bookkeeper will be suited to you and your business. And lastly, delegating your numbers to someone else is super exciting and a huge milestone in your business, but it doesn't mean you can say goodbye entirely. As a small business owner, it's your responsibility to know and be on top of your numbers. At the end of the day, you're still the one responsible for them, as in making sure all the correct information reaches your bookkeeper and tax agent, because they can only do things based on the information that you give them. Make sure that you're either sent reports or you know how to run them yourself, because now you have a professional on the tools. Use your numbers to make smart business decisions, to save for your BAS and taxes now that you know exactly where you're at financially. Use those reports and information to increase your prices when costs increase, or if you're not seeing the profit that you're expecting, and ask questions. Always ask as many questions as you want. It's your business and your numbers, and you're allowed. I know this week's episode will have been really helpful as I get asked this a lot. How do I know when to outsource my books? And now you know it's different for everyone, so it depends is pretty much my standard answer. Thank you for popping this short and snackable episode on your playlist. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you could please leave a review on iTunes or your listening platform, as that is how more small business owners will be able to find and listen to these bookkeeping and business matters so they can make important decisions with information like this to help them. I will catch you next week with some more of your bookkeeping matters.